So I just read Corax, Lord of Shadows by Guy Haley, and it was alright. The book tells the story of the Raven Guard bringing a non-compliant system into compliance. At the same time, there's also a side story in which an officer, a tech priest and a space marine hunt down a mysterious group of rebels on Corvus' home planet. The main problem I have with the book is that it fails to create an interesting and unique picture of the Raven Guard and their Primarch. I'm not really sure whether this is intentional, but the book only really manages to portray Corvus as an incompetent, arrogant hypocrite. This also just makes the Raven Guard look like a discount version of the Night Lords in the Alpha Legion. In order to explain this in more depth, I would have to go into spoiler territory, but basically, Corvus wants to do everything according to his grand plan to show everyone that he can enforce compliance without having to resort to terrorism. He then gets a crap ton of innocents killed in the process and eventually still resorts to terror tactics. Oh yeah, not to mention, he is constantly boasting about how he is liberating these people while he is enforcing compliance to one of the most dystopian, tyrannical societies in all of fiction. It gets worse with the Night Lord impersonations, however. The Raven Guard are described as being clad in midnight black. This, however, is not a thing that exists. The Night Lords say they are clad in midnight because their armor color is midnight blue, but while midnight, midnight blue and midnight green exist, there is no such thing as midnight black. Some other examples include the Raven Guard telling people that they are coming for them, and that they're broadcasting screams across all of the Vox systems. But while the book fell short in terms of Legion ideology, the book does have a lot of cool details about the Raven Guard in it. One of my favorites is that Corvus has an extremely good sense of smell, and he can smell out all the individual components of a glass of wine. Ravens are carrion birds after all, and therefore they need an extremely good sense of smell to find everything dead or dying. Rather than just being a cool superpower, this is also a really cool metaphor for the Raven Guard, as they have a tendency to smell out a culprit and bring them to justice, right? Some other cool tidbits are how the Raven Guard like to create miniature engravings, a practice carried over from their time in the Kiavaron prison, and the attention given to the Sablebrand gene flaw. Oh, and there's also a pretty funny story about the compliance of Varva. And that's basically all there is to this book. We don't really learn anything about the Primarch's backstory or about his personality, apart from him being, well, an hypocritical arsehole. The story itself is reasonably entertaining and does have some interesting twists and surprises, but it just doesn't really do justice to the Raven Guard in my opinion. All in all, I'm giving this book 3 out of 5 Black Library stars. It's an alright book about Walmart Night Lords with some cool Raven Guard trivia. If you're a Raven Guard fan, you could read this book for the trivia, but I'm not sure whether that's really worth it. On the other hand, if you're a Night Lords fan, this is a great book to learn about all the reasons why the Emperor and the Imperium sucks. Then for the tier list, I'm gonna place Lord of Shadows above the Lorgar book, because it actually does have a pretty interesting storyline. And well, the Lorgar book storyline was just all over the place really.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.